Who are some guys that you think might be a little undervalued? You look at him and say, man, somebody's going to get a bargain with this guy because he might be, a top 10 pick. So some guys to keep an eye on that you think might be sleepers in this draft.
I think one guy who I think is really flying under the radar is Javonte Williams at North Carolina. He was in a committee situation in North Carolina. 2 running backs. Michael Carter ran very, very well as well. But this guy finishes his runs, breaks contact, yards after contact, finishes all of the time, doesn't go out of bounds. He's got a little bit of quickness, but in the passing game as well. I just think that he's such a talented player. And a lot of people like to talk about Najee Harris and Travis Etienne at Clemson. But I think Javonte Williams is as good as those guys. There's an awful lot of interior offensive linemen that you could talk about. Creed Humphrey's very talented at center. Aaron Banks at Notre Dame, again, a very, very talented player. Alex Leatherwood, he's kind of got mixed views. You speak to somebody like Todd McShay, and he might say he's a 3rd-round pick. You speak to someone like Tony Pauline, a draft expert, he'll say he's a top 20 pick. What kind of a range he's going to go, who knows? But either way, you're going to get a really tough guy, kind of like in a Dwayne Brown mold. Could play left guard, could play left tackle. One name to keep an eye on, it's apt that, we're talking a little bit about Cleveland because his second name is Cleveland. He's Ben Cleveland at Georgia. I think a lot of people think that this is a guy he's kind of stiff and he can't move around. And yeah, he's really powerful, but, he's not very mobile. I completely disagree. I think he's got a bit more athleticism than people think. And, he's going to get after you. The Georgia staff had to limit him to 45 bench reps at 225 just to prevent him from getting injured. Now, the record at the combine is 47, and he probably would have broken that if there was a combine. Unfortunately, he's not going to get that opportunity now, but he just smashes people up, and he's a really good player who's really only scratching the surface of what he can do. And, a player that I came to really late in this process, and we talked about him earlier, D. Eskridge, just really, really good as a return guy. Western Michigan tried to move him to cornerback, and they moved him back to receiver. And I only came to him in the last week and kind of checked him out for the first time. He's absolutely incredible. Top player, very, very exciting. Who knows where he's going to go? After the Senior Bowl, he may see his stock elevate and fly up the boards. We've seen with guys in recent years who have done that. Terry McLaurin was one of those who ended up going to Washington from Ohio State. So let's see where D. Eskridge is by the end of the Senior Bowl week. I've got a feeling that people may even be talking about him in the second round when all's said and done.